I couldn't believe how many people that are out there doing art that are just incredible at it. Painting, drawing, all kinds of different mediums, different takes, different perspectives on baseball. And it was like, when I figured that out, when I started seeing that on Instagram, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not the only freak, I'm not the only freak out there.
No, it's amazing. You just can't believe how people are doing it.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's awesome.
John, did you log into my account or did you log into your account?
I'm not logged in as you this time. I joined using the meeting ID and the password like I should have done the first time.
All right, we're live now, so we'll go from there.
I'll just have a look here and share that quickly.
Cool. There you go. That was just I saw it pop up there. Sometimes Facebook just does this endless loop. Oops, and you're just like, is it going? Is it not going? And then that's the technical side of things. I'm just the talking.
But you see, Jason, when we've been looking at the broadcasts back, though, it's been going live pretty much instantly. So there's like 2 or 3 minutes at the start of each one. Like I was just going, are we live? Oh, we're live, aren't we? Oh, are we live? I think we are. and talking absolute guff.
Those are the best.
Come on, how long does it take?
Nothing.
Yeah. The best version of the ball caps and bagpipes would probably just be all the shooting the shit that we do before and after the episodes have been recorded.
So we interviewed Pete Sack. I don't know if you've seen him on Instagram or not. And me and Pete go way back. Like we went to middle school and high school together. And our first 20 minutes of the interview was us just catching up on old times.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I think what's his handle on Instagram?
I think it's just at Pete Sack.
Yeah. It's not ringing a bell, but I'm sure I followed him.
He's oh gosh, how do you describe? He works with the oils and paints, and he does. He was doing portraits for a while, and he's just like, I'm done with that now. I only do commissions and not there. But
cool. In baseball and stuff.
Yeah, he prefers to go from like the 1950s and 60s. He likes to take kind of that the baseball card art from that and kind of use that from the start there.
Oh right, okay, yeah, I know Pete's stuff.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was just funny because like we hadn't literally talked to each other since like 1994. So.
Oh, really? Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, this is amazing to connect old friends and then make new ones like we're doing now, and then kind of connecting a community of like-minded guys and artistic, and I'm into like collecting people's stuff and using my work to trade, and get people's stuff, and it's so fun. So it's amazing.
So who you got trades lined up with?
I'm like bust on trades right now. I haven't had the chance to I really wanted to go through and like look at everyone that's on the roster here for this amazing benefit for the Negro Leagues Museum in Kansas City. But I haven't even had any time. But I wanted to do trades with like Amazing Blaze. I'm gonna forget all kinds of people.
Yeah, exactly. But there's
like baseball card vandals, all those. Like there's an endless list of people's work that I want. Jumbotron art, like it just goes on and on and on. So.
Yeah, but you and Peter, you guys are like in the same area, so you can actually like probably drive to Peter's house and trade stuff with Jumbotron art.
Where is he?
I thought he's in LA.
Oh, I moved out of LA in March.
Oh, okay. Because I was going through my old chats and I was like, I said, oh, you're still in LA? Because I knew you went from Atlanta to LA, but where are you at now?
I'm in Delray Beach, Florida. It's about an hour north of Miami.
Oh man.
All right, we are good to go.
Yeah, we'll just carry on the conversation since we've already been going this way.
Yeah.
But I'll introduce you. We'll go right into it. Hello, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast here. We're on like day 5 of our interviews with all the artists and the people that are making things for the Negro League Baseball Museum. The fundraiser is going pretty well. Everyone's got a nice preview. I'm Jason Durr. I'm one of the hosts of Ball Caps and Bagpipes. Usually it's a Scottish baseball podcast, but we're being the host of this event. I want to introduce my partner John here.
Hi guys, I'm John McKellar, the other half of Ball Caps and Bagpipes, Glasgow Comet baseball player. Happy to be here doing this again one more time.
Well, cool. And our guest tonight, well, we lost the guest earlier. We don't know what happened, never showed, but we do have Mark. I'm going to butcher your surname here, Mark, so you'll have to pronounce it for me. But Mark from Collage Baseball.
Giorgione.
It's Giorgione. Yeah, you can
Easy.
say Giorgione, but
Giorgione.
it's in the Italian, in the old country, you say Giorgione.
Giorgione.
But everybody
Marco Giorgione.
Giorgione, macaroni, spaghetti, tortoni, ravioli. So I'll just, it's okay.
So yeah, so now we just found out you just moved from LA to Florida. So what was behind the move in Florida? Just more opportunities, or?
I'm in the fine art business. I sell contemporary painting, photography, sculpture, and there was an opportunity out here that I took a job for, and it's just better for me. It's just, I'm right by, I was up by the beach in LA, but it's just a little more accessible. It's a little slower pace. It's not as expensive. Just needed a change. I've been in LA for 20 years, so it's been a good move. Yeah.
Oh gosh, you've done your time in LA. You've survived.
Pretty
you don't
much.
have to deal with the traffic anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy timing. We got here in March, just before COVID really reared its ugly head.
And how are things over in Florida anyways? Like, we only hear the horror stories about Florida, man.
I know. So Florida gets such a bad rap. There's a lot of decent people here, more than you would think. There's your good fare of some knobheads, but there's knobheads everywhere. So it's good. It's really good. It's Delray Beach is a nice little community, and I just love it. It's easy. I can ride my bike to work, walk. There's coffee shops everywhere. There's little boutiques and restaurants and galleries and stuff. It's awesome. So it's really accessible and easy. Yeah.
So have you found a baseball team to play in? Obviously with COVID, you couldn't play.
Yeah, no.
We chatted baseball.
Yeah, I had such a blast. I had like a midlife crisis last year, and I joined a baseball team, an adult baseball league, and there I was like, wasn't the oldest guy out there, but I was, one of the older guys out there, and I actually did okay. I actually hung in there and did okay. I played outfield and got my fix of baseball. I wanted to compete, feel how to feel that competitive drive of standing in the box and maybe getting smacked smacked with a baseball. I never got hit, but it was awesome. It was awesome. I loved
it. Yeah, I can totally know what you mean. Like I went 8 years before I came over to Scotland, and then they found out it was baseball here, and there was just a competitive juices just kicked in again, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot what it was like to be on the mound, and swing the stick and all that.
You know what I wanted out of any of it, besides like actually playing, I wanted to be able to just put on a baseball uniform and spit seeds and chew chew gum and just talk, like be one of the boys. I know it's like ridiculous, but it's true. It's like, you just want to like hang out and be in the dugout and like talk shop and like root for your team and like have this sort of like, just be a ball player, so like go back to the glory days in high school again. So I had that opportunity. It was so cool.
It's fun. So speaking of high school,
Mark,
all right, go for it, John. Jump in.
I think we were going to ask the same question. Yeah. Speaking of high school, Mark, can you talk to us about your baseball upbringing and your background? Did you play growing up?
Yeah,
and
so
what level,
I grew up in Georgia. Everybody's playing baseball in Georgia or football. And so I was scared to death actually playing baseball. I was tiny and didn't want to get hit, and kind of was like not mature enough to actually realize that I could be good and succeed at baseball. It was just like, that's what you're supposed to do. But then I got to high school and matured a little bit, and then really found out that I could I wasn't a power hitter or anything. I was still scrawny, but I could be a contact hitter. And so I actually did really well in high school. and thought I'd play college, but I didn't get to that level. Kind of got lazy and wasn't really a great student. But I grew up in Atlanta, and in the 80s, I'd go to Fulton County Stadium and watch the Braves every chance I got. And what was happening with me is I was looking at like the uniforms and the cleats and the dirt and the grass and the stadiums and the smell, um, like most of us did. And now looking back and thinking about those days, it's so nostalgic. So I wanted to kind of get back to those days, and obviously we can't get back to those days. And that's how collage baseball kind of came out of me, is trying to get back to that, being a kid and playing in the yard and being your hero. Like you play baseball and you'd be, I'm Ken Griffey Jr., or I'm Dale Murphy, or I'm Bob Horner, or I'm Pete Rose. And I realized I could do that by cutting up cards and putting them in photography books that had that landscape. There's specific photographers in the 70s that were taking large format cameras out into the terrain and even taking road trips and shooting these shots and then making these amazing books. So these guys are actually in like all the museums. They're like considered the titans of contemporary photography. So and with my experience going to LA and getting into that field of and that career of dealing with fine art, I had all of that accessible to me. Mm-hmm. I had all these books, and so I started to combine my love for baseball in those old days with putting them in these landscapes. And then that took me back to my backyard when I was a kid, playing with my friends and being Dale Murphy. So it was like a natural, even though it was almost like an accident, it just like came to me like in a dream one night. And then I did it, and then just took off with it. It was like going back to the days of like, I wouldn't come home until I had to, like, the street lights would come on and then my mom would be yelling, come home. Cause I was just out playing in the yard and the streets and people's yards playing baseball and just couldn't get enough. So I wanted to go back to those days. I mean, we all kind of want to go back to our childhood more or less. So, that's sort of my upbringing. I don't know if I veered off from my upbringing.
It's all good. So we build this as basically it's a beer with friends, and the conversation goes in whichever direction it goes, as long as we kind of touch on a few key points. So if we go off on a veer, gosh, we went on a baseball card conversation for like 20 minutes with the third Dan, and it was awesome.
Yeah? He's awesome. He's hilarious. He was starting to message me a while ago about how am I cutting the cards?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm cutting these cards with X-Acto knives. And that's how I started doing it.
Right.
And it would take me like all night to cut a couple cards.
Right. Okay.
And then because I'm in the art world, he said, one of my colleagues said, because I was telling my colleagues about it. I'm doing these cards. He said, well, how are you cutting them? I said, X-Acto knife. And they literally pulled out a drawer and handed me these scissors. They're these Japanese scissors.
Right. Okay.
Called Nevanon, and you can cut on a dime and crisp and clean and like little, like surgically these scissors. So I went from like cutting a couple cards overnight with X-Acto knife to like cutting 15 cards a night with those scissors. So I was like, oh, Dan, you got to get these scissors. So now he's like killing it now. He's like making amazing work with all the cards that he's doing. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, no, I caught a show with Blake Jameson, and they were talking about X-Acto blades then. So I wonder if you had the conversation after that or not, like that there. And
yeah, surprising. It wasn't too long ago, but I'm glad to share any tricks of the trade, because I was like, your hands are hurting cutting like with X-Acto knives, and so it was like, well, there's got to be a better way. And so this awesome girl, Amanda Gotch, I was working at the Lapis Press, and she said, in Culver City in LA, she said, you should be using these. So the team at Lapis Press kind of steered me in, because they're making art with artists, they're collaborating with artists, and so they have all these tools, and so they said, you should check out this. So it was amazing. It was like turned a corner. So
How long were you making cards by X-Acto blade before you found the scissors?
probably like half a year.
Okay, so not too bad. So not like you went 2 or 3 years into it.
No, it was like I was thinking there's got to be scissors. So that's why I went into work one day and talked to them about it, because I know that they have they have drawers of all kinds of special tools. It's like the place spares no expense to get the best stuff. So
Nice.
I was like, hey, I'm doing, and they're like, check these out. And I was like, oh, that's it. So it pays to share what you're doing sometimes with the pros.
And how did it go down saying that you were doing baseball card art?
They thought it was cool, it was like, oh, cool. They were like, do you ever make prints? We should make prints, and so they wanted to do prints with me, but they were really expensive, even with my discount. It was like, and I don't do too many prints. I think the whole thing for me is the original piece.
Mm-hmm.
But on occasion, I'm going through all these books, and sometimes these books are, $100 books, $200 books, and I don't want to cut the page out.
Right.
So occasionally I'll have it scanned and make a print. But that opens up a can of worms for copyrights and all.
Right, and everything else. Yeah, we had a couple of meetings about that with Tad about copyright, and everyone had questions on what you could use and what you couldn't use. And
yeah, it's still uncharted. Like, it's still a work in progress for me. Like, if I was advertising that I was selling these,
mm-hmm.
MLB could come and just close me down probably, or Franklin Batting Gloves or Nike or whoever. Like, technically they could come around and just be like, I'm not like a big guy yet, but there could be some problems down the road with my work. And I did start hashtagging the photographers.
Right.
And then it was a conflict of interest because I actually have worked with these photographers.
Right. Okay.
I've made them a considerable amount of money. But one guy said, it's your business to cut your books up, but don't use my work.
All right.
So
okay.
Then I started going to some of the guys that I thought that I knew were baseball fans, and they're like, yeah, absolutely, use my work.
Right.
So it was a double-edged sword. So I don't hashtag anybody's photography. I don't credit the background image because it's just
illegal.
I don't hide it. Someone's like, who is that name? Because a lot of, there's like some artistic people come around and be like, oh, that's a William Eggleston. Yeah, that's or they'll say, hey, is that so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah. And then I'll tell them where the image is from and what book and what date and where it is. And I don't want to hide anything, but it's not the point. The whole point of the project is to bring the sports world into the art world,
right.
or get the sports world to think a little bit outside of the box and bring them into an artistic realm. I want the guy that would usually buy the jersey to buy an original collage baseball,
Right. Yeah.
Like something different.
But so you see that trend now. I'm assuming you're following Topps 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I said, this is my jam. I love it. Like I can't get enough of my cards there. So, but I think it was such a cool idea because, again, I think it was probably about 2 years ago, and it was Jimmy Parker's Beauty of a Game who said baseball card as art. And it made me start thinking about that. And I started getting all my old cards and looking at them and like, you know what? There is a lot of artwork in this. Yeah. Before it was like, I'm just ripping packs looking for my Canseco's, McGuire's and all that. And now I'm looking at it and like, oh, actually the designs are actually really, really good. I just didn't really care about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing because I'll cut a player out of the card. And then like, there'll be like so many, like I have like a whole trove of this stuff, but there'll be so many little things and logos and little things that I'm like, oh, that's a cool, I got to use the Donruss logo. Oh, that's a cool little stripe. Oh, that's a cool little, oh, it's the old Texas Rangers logo. Like there's so much little things all over just one card that I've just, I want the player out of it. But then I go back and then I'll flip it over and look, and then there's more numbers, and it's like, it's insane how much art there is actually on just a baseball card.
Yeah, but see, I think that's what I like about your work is like you always have the player in there, but you've also taken bits and pieces that and I can have a nice laugh and go, oh, that's the 86 Donruss logo or something like that. You know, like, and it immediately goes to me. It's like, I recognize that. I totally know where that's from. And
Yeah,
it's that nostalgia for me. That's awesome.
I love it that you pick up the little things because, you know, we're mostly looking at the images that, you know, they're this big, right? Because we're on our phone. So a lot of the times when I post something, I'll zero in on little details that you might miss and put it in the story, because adding the little logo on a tree or a facade of a building creates so much depth to it. So I just can't get enough of it. It's so cool that it's like, and then it turns into my own fantasy world of like walking down the street and seeing like what you would want to see. Like, like, you know, there's not a lot of baseball card shops left. So like seeing like an 86 Donruss logo on a facade of a shop, you know, and stuff like that is, I love. So I try, sometimes it's too much. Sometimes it's like, this is way too much. Like, it's like kind of killing it. I like to try to keep some composition and perspective and kind of let focus be on the player stuff. So I have to really hold back because I want to just pepper all kinds of logos and stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of like rein
Do
it back.
Do you start off by collecting the items that are going to be in the image, or do you build it as you go along? You know, do you start off a card with an image in mind after doing your kind of homework, or do you start it first and then start adding as you go?
I think it's afterwards. It's like I don't really think about. Yeah, it's all just the player, and then, you know, it's putting the player in that spot that I think would be awesome with this car, this building, or this street, or whatever. And then I'll look at the card, and I want it to be relative to using just one card for that image. So you have like the top logo from that card, and you have this little logo from that card. Sometimes I branch out and I mean, this is how ridiculous I am. I have a box of clippings of logos and stuff from cards. So if I need a Rangers logo, I will actually go into the box and like look for that logo. But most of the time I'm trying to use just one card as the resource for that. But then sometimes like just one little, just Nolan Ryan, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just Nolan Ryan on the street, and that's it, right? So, you know, I want to put like the Houston Astros on the building and all that stuff, but like the simplicity of just putting him in that little shadow to have like the natural shadow is like, you know, kind of the crux of the whole thing is just simplicity as well. So
it's awesome. Like I said, that's awesome. Have you ever thought about sending it to Nolan Ryan to get it signed before you get it back?
Yeah, I've thought about doing all kinds of stuff. I have a laundry list of things. I have like at this point, I have like a bucket list for the project because I want all the players to know about it. I want to get them into like CEOs' offices at the stadium. You know, I just don't have enough time. You know, I'm like trying to, you know, do other things to put food on the table.
Exactly. But I mean, that's what's really cool about this project is most of the people, it's their side hustle. And it's just like, if I got paid doing this full time, I would do this full time, no problem. But, you know, it's like, you can only do so much when you're, you know, 9 to 5 and all that. So,
yeah, at some point, I think I will be. But, you know, I want everyone to have a piece of it, you know, and I try to work with people. But at this point, my time is so valuable that I can't like just make an image and then charge somebody $30 for it.
right.
And unfortunately, a lot of the times, a lot of people online are like shocked when I tell them that it's, you know, $300-400.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, it's the book and it's all kinds of stuff. So I try to make it as accessible as possible. And that's where sometimes maybe prints come in, but prints flatten the image. Right. When you have the card glued in there and then you have the little knickknacks glued in, there's such an amazing depth and 3D feel to it. And the scale, it's really cool. You want to just get inside of it. So a print. I've done some prints because people want larger works too, you know?
Yeah.
The prints are actually more work than, because I make the original's done.
Right.
I make a print, I've made the original, and then I got to go scan it. And I'm still working with printers in Los Angeles. So I'm shipping it to LA. So it's like, you know, I can't charge enough for a print. So it's hard.
It's tough. Like I said, I've talked to a couple artists off camera, and they're like, how much do I charge for my work? It's like, I know what I can get. I know it's accessible, and it's finding that happy medium between that. And that's tough because, you know, you value your own work. You know the time and effort that goes into it to get that final product. And I think, you know, from the consumer side, you see it and go, oh, that's pretty cool. He took some scissors and cut them cards up. That took him half an hour. And realistically, that's not the truth.
Right. It's yeah, it's a labor of love.
I feel you, man. I totally feel you. So obviously, Murph's your favorite player. You got the big poster of Murph in the background.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, that's just more of it, more than just Murph. It was like, just Nike came out with these posters, and they had like these titles like Power Alley and all this, like Hit and Run and Bash Brothers and all that stuff. And this poster kind of like was distilled in me, and I kind of like it morphed, like the project. This is part of the crux to the project too, is that fantasy. Murphy's in an alley, and he's in its Power Alley. Yeah. So that's like something I would do, right? I would put like Murphy in an alley and say Power Alley. So like that, this poster, he was my favorite player though, growing up as a kid. And then it was Chipper.
Well, yeah, you had a natural transition. You had Murph all through the 80s, and then you had Chipper in the 90s. You know. Yeah,
I know people didn't like Chipper, but and then Maddox, you know, but yeah, these posters kind of are a big part of where I'm coming from with the project as well.
But yeah, I mean, you look back at it and you go, okay, you had like the Cosico brothers who were doing all those silly posters of everyone back in the day, but those were a lot of fun. And I think it was a good way to expose people to go, actually, that's actually artistic, but you're having fun with it. And guys were like, oh, great, I just want the poster because it's got Canseco, McGuire, the Bash Brothers on it all there.
Yeah.
Or, I'm trying to think
I had so many posters, you know. I wish I had them all.
I know, me too. I think I threw them all out. Like, oh, I'm going to college.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to need these in college.
This isn't even my childhood poster. I bought this off of eBay years ago, and I must have paid probably close to $100 for it. And this was like 10 years ago I bought this or more. Yeah. And now I went back and looked at it because this is getting dinged up and stuff. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get a fresh one. They're like $500 now.
What? No way.
Yeah. Or if you can find them, if you can even find them. Oh, so man. As the world turns, these relics get more and more expensive. So I wish I held on to all that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like I said, I think of all the stuff I threw out. It was like that. The only thing I actually still have is my baseball cards collection, and I'm slowly getting it shipped over here. And it's all from like late 80s, early 90s. They're absolutely worthless.
I know. You've seen that Netflix movie, right? Of the.
I know you're talking about. No, we can't get it out here. It's not European distribution rights aren't out here yet, so we can't see it.
Oh, Jack of all trades. That's what.
Yeah, Jack of all trades. No, because I as soon as I saw that on Instagram, I was like, "This looks awesome." I saw your trailer. Definitely want to see it. Are you going to show it in the UK, Europe? And they're like, "We'll try to get rights for you."
That's a bummer.
So, no luck yet.
This kid basically lived it. His dad had a shop. And, you know, I won't ruin it for you, but it was basically like this kid lived that. His dad owned a shop in the 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty cool movie to see from his perspective.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you collect much cards as a kid then?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still have a box of my best, but like you said, they're not worth that much, you know. No. So I have some Ripken, Gwynn rookies and stuff like that. Got some earlier cards like Koufax and Yastrzemski, but nothing major. Like I thought at one point I was like, I'm gonna send my kid to college with my baseball.
Yeah, we all did that.
No, you're not, because that the Jack of All Trades, that movie on Netflix, it goes through that Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck card.
Yeah.
Where it was the golden ticket, but then Upper Deck got greedy.
Yeah.
And started making a lot of them.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize this. I mean, I was telling Pete yesterday about that, and he's like, I had no idea. It's like, because we were talking about going to the card shop, and I was the one that put him on the baseball cards, and we were talking about how we just spent, hundreds of dollars trying to get a Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck card because we were in Seattle. It's like, we got to get a card.
Yeah, that was the card. That was the holy grail of our time,
And then I've joined a couple of baseball card groups because I'm trying to help my buddy start his shop up. And apparently, if you can get a sealed box, if you open like the upper right, third or fourth pack, that's where the Griffey sits.
Right.
Yeah. But a sealed box is like $300 now. And I'm like, nah, I don't want a Griffey that bad.
Yeah, right. The good old days. Yeah, that was fun.
Cool. So what do you got in store for the fundraiser? You got a couple of pieces you're selling, something you've already done? Are you working on something?
I have a few things. I have like a Ricky Henderson I'm working on.
Cool.
I want to do a Hank Aaron. I want to do some like earlier players. Yeah, I got a few cool things that are gonna post soon and then be available. I'll probably change the format a little bit, like with like actually showing like on my story the size and stuff and saying it's this much, and then so I can raise funds for the museum in Kansas City. So yeah, I'm excited to bust some new work out specifically to get sold and put, in the hands of some lucky people.
I think it's be good. I think it's going to really open up a lot of markets for most of you guys out here, and hit an audience you normally don't get a hit.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I needed something like this because it was kind of just. I'm on a track of like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but then also it's like, okay, I have time. Okay, let's go. Okay, I have time. Okay, let's go. Oh, I don't have any time. It's like, it's kind of like, it's unpredictable for me. And then I have a list of like 300 titles.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. You just got a giant whiteboard back there, don't you? You just keep adding to it.
It's just like, and then, I want to stay current. So depending on what's going on, in baseball or current events or whatever, I try to like make a comment on it through my posts. But I kind of needed an excuse to like kind of get focused on something. So this is a good time for me to be able to focus on some work specifically to be sold for a good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you.
We are going to open up a pack of cards shortly, Jason. But before we do, one thing I'd like to ask all of our interviewees is, as an American, as an artist, and as a baseball fan, what do the Negro Leagues mean to you? And how did you come to be involved with the fundraiser?
The Negro Leagues, what they mean to me is that they were not given enough notoriety. They weren't given enough credit. All you hear is Jackie Robinson. So this is going to be a learning experience for me to really understand who Cool Papa Bell was, or Satchel Paige, or some of these other guys that have gone overlooked. I saw so many posts recently, I think that's involved in this, say, white kids know who Babe Ruth are, and automatically, but they don't know who like cool Papa Bell is, right? So, or black kids don't know who Cool Papa Bell is, right? So I think it's going to be educational for me. I think to understand really how good these players were is really important, because these guys were pioneers of the game, and because of the issues that we have in the world and in America, things just kind of get overlooked, and it's just because of an habitual view and perspective on race, which is just it's mind-blowing. That's what's happened with civil rights, and even now I can't believe that we still have an issue. So it's sad. So I'm really happy to be part of this because it's going to educate me, and it's going to help me to promote my perspective that I'll learn from, and to promote these specific players. I'm like shopping for these cards now, for Cool Papa Bell cards and Satchel Paige and all these other players that I need to know about.
Yeah.
So, and then I got hooked up with, because of Jason, I believe, being in this community on Instagram, there's all these amazing artists, like I was saying earlier, that I kind of feel like we're all sort of like we're in our own like little community and movement. And now we have a chance to really kind of get it out there for an amazing cause for the Negro League Museum in Kansas City. So I'm super happy about it. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I said I've been chatting to Tad pretty much every night and every morning, and we're really excited how things are going and how it's slowly growing, and it's picking up steam here and there. And just to say, if it works this year, then we can do it next year and fix something else there. And I think that's such a great idea there. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, you guys are amazing to take this on and to get this going. It's really incredible, and I'm really appreciative of it. It's awesome.
It's Tad. Tad's doing all the hard work. We're doing the fun stuff. We get to chat with people and open up baseball cards. He's got to spend 8 hours on the phone trying to convince people to give him money. I don't know how Tad does it, man.
He's like all over it with the emails and the documents and the Google Drives and it's just insane.
Yeah, he's doing. I said it's funny because I'm usually up till about 2 o'clock in the morning before I probably fall asleep. So we'll be trading messages till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll get up at 7 because my daughters wake me up, and I'll be starting messages to him, and we'll trade messages till about 9 o'clock in the morning here, which is 1 o'clock West Coast time.
Right.
Are you getting any sleep? No. You getting any sleep? No. It's just like, all right, man. Only 2.5 weeks to go.
Yeah, good sleep in November, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this project has been really great for me. It's just a random Scottish guy who does a Scottish baseball podcast and get to speak to all these amazing artists and learn so much about the Negro as well and these artists and what they do. It's something I would never have really considered or even had the opportunity to know about. So just, to have my eyes open to this whole other aspect of baseball and learning more about the game as we go along doing this has just been great so far, and I can't wait to continue.
Awesome. Yeah. I want to check out the podcast. I'm super excited about you guys' podcast. I'm glad you guys are doing it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Awesome. I mean, me and John met on the field, and we've had a friendship since then. So,
Awesome. Yeah. Well, count me in if you ever need a special guest or just a guest.
Yeah, we'll probably do something like that coming in the off season. We're trying to do something like that and do more of a thing on there. And this one was kind of like, we were chat with Tad and like, we podcast, we're not huge, but we were happy to take everyone on. And like I said, like every morning I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. But I was like, I had such a good time talking. I mean, me and John spent like a good hour afterwards after talking to everybody and still talking about that was so much fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't been able to really I love to talk about this project because it's a super interesting thing and I always learn different. I've surprised myself. And so I'm super happy to be able to talk about it, talk about myself for a minute. Yeah.
All right, I love your work. Like I said, the work's awesome. So all right. So I've got 89 donors.
Woohoo!
I've got 1990 score.
Nice.
91 Stadium Club.
Ooh, I love Stadium Club.
Right. 92 donors.
Oh, I don't recognize it.
And 93 studio.
Studio. They're all that's all like the black portraits, right?
So I have, okay, hold on. I got two studios. Like this one's color. Yeah, it is. So I pulled this one with Tad. Okay, I gotta see where it is. Hold on. It's the best card from the set. So we pulled the Steve Lake card.
That's hilarious.
So we pulled that one there. So that's 91 studio, which I can get you a pack of 91 studio if you want 91 studio. But the 93 is in color. So
okay. I didn't know that.
I you know what? I never bought any studio. This is the same time I was 16 and had a girlfriend, so I wasn't spending money on baseball cards.
Yeah, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. Yeah.
All right, which one do you want to open?
Let's do the color studio.
Okay, cool. Let's do the 90. So let's see who we get here. It's not quite as bad as the 91, but 91's all right. Oh gosh. Okay. Let's see. All right, we'll go backwards here. Yeah. Ken Caminiti.
Ooh, there you go. Is that autographed?
No, they're all. It's like the fake autograph. Although it's, right. I wish. Yeah, it's. Let's see. Here we go.
That's cool. Caminiti's deceased, right?
Yeah, he passed away.
Yeah.
Gosh, what was it? Mid 2000s or something like that.
Yeah, a while ago now.
Yeah.
I cannot get enough of like that Marlins teal.
I know.
So good.
They can't decide on a color or a name, or they keep changing all the time.
I can't wait to see a game there. Now that I'm here, I'm gonna go see the Braves every time they come down there.
How far of a drive is it to the Marlins Stadium?
Hour?
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Nah.
No, that's and there's plenty of tickets.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Those guys have got Derek Jeter. They'll top it around.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. This is kind of fun, but Kirk Gibson with the bill flipped
nice.
up.
With the bill flipped up.
Yeah.
I like that. The big
okay.
logo.
So this guy's popped up a few times in our picks. John Burkett.
Oh, dude, that's the guy. He was. Oh no, that was Dravecky. Okay, never mind.
No, yeah, Dravecky was blew his arm out, but Burkett was guy. He played for the Braves, didn't he?
Burkett, yeah.
Every time we see John Burkett in a car, Jason, he's got a different uniform on.
He went around.
How many teams did that guy play for?
He probably.
I remember him with the Red Sox.
Yeah, he's probably played. He was a journeyman after a while. He probably played for like 10 teams.
But see, the only reason I remember John Burkett is because he was a bowler. So on his off days, he would do bowling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was his thing.
Oh.
He was like a really good bowler, and so that was how he kept his arm in shape in the off season and between games. He'd just go bowl like 10 games in a row or something like that.
That's something that a pitcher would not get away with these days.
Well, Mookie bowls. Yeah, it says in the back of his card, might have been a pro bowler if he hadn't been an athlete. So I don't know what this says about bowling.
This on the bowling world there, huh?
Yeah. All right, here you go. You recognize this.
Greatest basketball player of all time, Bill Murray, is a good bowler.
What's that?
Julio Franco.
I like how it just says Tex.
Yeah, I think it's just the part of the jersey they got there.
Yeah, it's just cropped. He had like one of the coolest stances.
Yeah, exactly. It was the big arm up there.
Yeah. He played forever. He was on the Braves when he was like 45 or something.
I think. So he's come up in one of my this day in baseball. I think he had like the oldest home run at 47 or something like that. I remember seeing that there and going, damn, he was around a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. It's crazy to think he must be like 67 by now.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, he must be about 67 years old.
No, he's probably in his 70s now. Hold on.
Quite possibly. He's probably still playing somewhere.
He's born in 61, so he's 69.
Oof.
There you go. Roberto Alomar.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He's good.
Okay.
The Alomars, big family, big baseball family.
You know, Jason, for the first time, this is mostly all players that I've heard of.
Right.
These guys have all still been playing when I started watching in the early 2000s and the games that I played from back in the late 90s.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you just try to play as long as you possibly can? It's like being a kid.
So you got Scott Sanderson, but I like the logo here. That's the cool part. I really wish the Angels would go back to that one.
Halo.
Oh, the old California Angels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Greg Gagne? I don't remember him playing for the Royals, but I don't know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he was a twin forever.
Greg.
Yeah, that's
Greg Gagne, is he not a wrestler?
I don't know. You're the wrestler out here, John. You know that stuff. All right.
Jay Bell.
Jay Bell. He was a baller. He was a baseballer.
Yeah. Might have been an Air Force pilot if he hadn't been an athlete. That's
wow.
All right, here we go. We got
Second
Nails.
Base. Oh, Lenny.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not like a big wad of chew, and spit stains on the front.
That guy kind of just like lost it.
Gosh, there we go.
Yeah, it's a surprise he isn't in handcuffs.
Yeah, that's too bad, man.
Oh, right.
He's had these demons, his lady.
Chad Curtis. And
Chad Curtis, former Yankee.
so apparently he would be in plastic technology instructor if he hadn't been an athlete.
Technology instructor.
I don't know what that is. What is a plastic technology instructor? That's what it says.
That's very vague.
Yeah. His hobbies include weightlifting and Super Nintendo. So,
Yeah.
all right. Last card.
Yeah, those SNES.
Look at that.
Those SNES controllers are quite heavy.
We got Sandy
Another
Alomar. We got
Alomar.
both of them.
Yeah. Chief Wahoo.
Yeah, exactly. So his hobbies are music and remote.
May he rest in
control
peace.
Oh, is he did he die? Oh, Chief Wahoo, right.
Oh yeah, not Sandy Alomar, the chief.
I was like, oh, did Sandy Alomar die too? Oh dear. No, Chief
I hope he
Wahoo.
hasn't.
May he rest in peace. Yeah.
Cool. Mark, where can everyone find your information? Where can they find you at? Here's your chance to give yourself a plug. Well,
Basically on Instagram, that's the main vein. There's a Twitter account that exists and on Facebook, but Instagram's the main vein where most of the action occurs, where you will laugh your butt off, and
Cool.
you will not get it.
Excellent.
You won't get enough. You'll anxiously await the next post on Instagram.
well, listen, I love your work. It's been
Thank you.
absolutely brilliant to have you on. We'll
Thank
definitely catch up.
It's
with
been
you
awesome talking to you, Mark.
You too, John. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you guys. It's been a lot
sure.
of fun.
Cool, man. All right, have a good one, Mark. I'd say
All right,
good night,
John.
but it's
Okay.
all night here. See you later.
Bye,
Good
guys.
night.
Good night. Take
Enjoy the
care.
rest of your afternoon.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.